Welcome to the Pyramid. I'm Courtney Ronning, your host. Today we have two contestants who will be competing to solve math equations. Please help me welcome Sarah and Hadley.
Thank you for having me this morning. I am so excited to be here.
It's been my dream to be on this show.
Contestants, please take your positions. I'm going to be asking you girls to solve and check 4 equations under these categories. 2-step equations, equations with variables with both sides, multi-step equations, application problems involving multi-step equations. Sarah, go ahead and pick the first category.
2-step equations.
All right, so when you are finished, you will hit the star next to you on the wall. I will come and check. Make sure you solve, check, and explain your answer. Here's your first equation. 0.4x plus 3.9 equals 5.78.
So what I'm doing here is I'm taking 3.9, which is the constant, and I'm subtracting it by both sides. Because whenever you do an equation, you have to do the opposite operation to both sides of the equation. So when you do that, this cancels out. You get 4.4x equals, and then you have to subtract here. 4. Next, you have to divide the coefficient on both sides. And since 0.4 is being multiplied by x, you have to divide since we're doing the opposite operation. Then you would divide 1.88 divided by 0.4. This would cancel out, the x would come down, and you would get your answer of 4.7. Now we're going to check. So to start, you would write the problem again. Once you're done with that, you write it, and then you would substitute the variable with the answer that we got here. And then 0.9 equals 5.7. So here you would take this, since it's being added, you would add 0.4 to 4.7, and then you would get 1.9. And you would add this, and you would get 5.78 equals 5.78, and you have your answer. This helps make sure that your answer is correct. I'm done.
Hadley, since you hit the bell first, what is your answer?
My answer is 4.7.
What? I did not get that.
That is correct. Okay, so 1 point for Hadley, and you can pick the next category.
So I would like to do multi-step equations.
Okay, so here's your problem. Negative 13 equals 5 in parentheses 1 plus 4m parentheses minus 2m. You can start in 3, 2, 1. So what are you doing, Sarah?
So using the distributive property, you're going to distribute 5 times 1, which equals 5, and then 5 times 4m is 20m. And then that kind of gets rid of like the parentheses. So then and then you want to kind of solve for that. So negative 13, 5, and that's plus 18m. And then you want to do minus 5, which is then negative 18 equals 18m. And you want to divide by 18 so that you get negative 1. It's your step equations. You divide here, and since you're adding here, you want to subtract it here. And now for your check, you're going to rewrite the problem. So negative 13 plus 1. Oopsies. Let's fix that. 4m minus 2m. So you want to substitute m with negative 1 because m equals negative 1. So negative 13 equals 5 times 1 plus 2 times negative 1 minus 2 times negative 1. And so pretty much here now you just want to solve. So negative 13 equals 5. I'm sorry, this is actually a 4, not a 2. And then that's negative 4 times 5 is 20, negative 20. So we're going to make this negative 20. And then this is negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, so plus 2. So now you kind of just want to do like the order of operations kind of. So now 5 minus 20 is negative 15 plus 2. And then now that equals negative 13 equals 13, so that's correct.
Okay, Sarah, you hit your star first. What's your answer?
-1. What? I got 0. How is that right?
Sorry, Hadley, but the answer is -1. You're 1 off.
What? Darn it!
1 point for Sarah, which ties the game. All right, Sarah, pick next category.
Equations with variables on both sides, please.
Here's the problem. X over 3 equals x plus 4.
Oh, cool. We get to use the multiplicative inverse.
What the heck is that?
The multiplicative inverse is any number multiplied by the reciprocal, the product is always 1. For example, 2 over 3 times 3 over 2 equals 1.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead and start.
Subtract this x from both sides since we're doing the opposite operation. Then we get to negative 2x, 2/3 x, equals 4 because this cancels out. Then negative x plus x equals 2. And this would be a negative because this equals negative 2/3. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use the multiplicative inverse property. So for that, you flip the fraction over and you multiply it by both sides.
Oh my God.
So x equals negative 6. And here to show how to do this, you would turn 4 into a fraction. You would multiply it by 3 over 2. Then you would get 12 on the top and then 2 on the bottom. You divide 12 by 2 and you get 6. And since this is a negative, you get negative 6. There's your answer.
All right, Sarah, you hit the star first, but can you please explain your check for me?
Sure. So the equation was x over 3 equals x plus 4. And so the x equals negative 6. So you want to substitute x for negative 6. So you fill in negative 6 here. And so negative 6 plus 4 equals negative 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 equals negative 2. And since negative 2 equals negative 2, then negative 6 is our answer.
Sorry, Hadley, but she hit it before you, so she gets the point. Okay then, anyways, this is anyone's game. The last category is an application problem involving multi-step equations. Here's the problem. The sum of 3 consecutive even numbers equals 48. What are the smallest of these numbers? And remember, Sarah can go away with it, or Hadley can tie the score up. Begin. What'd you get, Sarah?
14.
And that is correct. Wonderful job, Sarah. Hadley, not so much.
I already know that 3 consecutive numbers can be represented by n plus 2, n plus 4. And since it equals 48. I know this because of my 8th grade math teachers, Mrs. Gaston and Mrs. Hobbs. So, what you want to do is, you know that n, there are 3 n's. So, you kind of just want to simplify it and make it 3n plus, and then got 2 and 4. That's 6. And then you don't want to forget that equals 48. So, you bring that down, equals 48. And then you want to get the n by itself on one side. To do that, you want to subtract 6 from both. Subtract 6. And then now I know that 3n equals 42. Oops. And so to solve for n, you have to divide by 3 on both sides. So now n equals 14. So I already know that 14 is one of the 3 consecutive numbers. 15, 16, and 18. And then 14 is the smallest consecutive integer.
Wow, Sarah, what an excellent explanation.
Thank you.
Good job today, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time on The Pyramid. I'm Courtney Running, your host.